Venezuela, the President Nicolás Maduro denounced that the United States Central Intelligence Agency has installed centers in Guyana, Esequiba. In Argentina, the Confederation of Education Workers is carrying out a national strike to demand the reopening of the bargaining agreement. Palestinian health authorities report more than 1 million illnesses as a result of the escalating Israeli siege. Hello, welcome to From the South. I am Irma Shelton, and from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba, we begin with the news. The president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro Moros, denounced on Wednesday that the United States Central Intelligence Agency has installed centers in Guyana, Esequiba with the objective of attacking the Bolivarian nation. The head of state affirmed that the intelligence agency has proven information on these movements. The Southern Command would also be part of the violent plans. It would not be the first time that the White House has attempted an aggression against the South American nation. This last episode was unveiled by the head of the state in the act of promulgation of the organic law for the defense of the Guyana Esequiba. The National Assembly of Venezuela, together with the National Executive, proclaimed the law that creates the new state of Guyana Esequiba and the framework of action of the Venezuelan state in the historically claimed area. Our correspondent, Leonel Retamal, with the details.
4 months after the mandate of the popular consultation for the Esequiba December 3, 2023, President Maduro signed the law that fulfills all the legal process to enter into force. The Guyana Esequiba is now a new state of Venezuela.
Venezuelan men and women, let us advance Indiana the integral recovery of the historical rights over the Guyana Esequiba. That is why I am going to proceed with great pride, with great love, with great commitment to sign immediately and to enact this binding and obligatory law that has been approved by the National Assembly.
The executive branch has been discussing the project for more than 3 months, since it was submitted by processing on December 5. Legislative and commission work, consultations with territorial organizations and specialized agencies resulted in this law, which has 39 articles that have established a political and administrative structure for the disputed area. The law was promulgated on December 21 and today received the approval of the Constitutional Chamber of the Supreme Court of Justice.
It is a law that comes directly from the mandate of the people of Venezuela. It is a law for the defense of a territory that is ours, for the defense of a sea that is ours, for the defense of an ecosystem that is being savagely attacked by all transnationals and mining pirates in a territory that is incontrovertibly Venezuelan.
The law originates as a mandate of December 3 referendum, which vindicates the Geneva Agreement in 1966, which proposes dialogue and diplomacy to solve the controversy. It rejects the 1899 arbitration awards and orders to attend the population of the Esequiba area. In addition, the executive created special divisions of the state mining company, PDVSA, and mining companies to grant exploitation concessions.
For the first time, the people were constitutionally summoned to decide the destiny and the future of Venezuela's rights over the Guyana Esequiba. On December 3, 2023, the years in which the people were summoned to decide the destiny and the future of Venezuela's rights over the Guyana Esequiba will pass. The years will pass, the decades will pass, and future generations will remember with pride those of us who dared to summon the opinion of the people so that it could express itself with all its sovereignty, with all its magnificence, with all its power.
Venezuela advocates a solution through dialogue, but constantly denounces that the old transnational ExxonMobil and the United States are fomenting a conflict with Guyana, which threatens regional peace.
Leonel Retamal, TeleSUR, Caracas, Venezuela.
In Venezuela, Foreign Affairs Minister Ivan Gil denounced on his X account the impact of the unilateral coercive measures on the enjoyment of human rights. Gil stated that while the majority of the countries of the United Nations Human Rights Council condemned the illegal and criminal sanctions, the representative of the Venezuelan oligarchs living in Europe asked for more sanctions against the Venezuela's people. The minister finished declaring that they have not been able to and will not be able to harm the growth and the thrive of Venezuela. In the Colombia Senate, the pension reform advanced on Wednesday after some right-wing legislators tried to shelve it. The two reports that requested the filling of this project were denied. The request of the Senator Lorena Rios from Colombia Justa Libres obtained 41 votes in favor and 50 against. Honorio Enriquez of the Democratic Center obtained 9 votes in favor of his proposal to send the bill to the archive, compared to 51 against. In this way, as the Minister Gloria Inés Ramirez stated that Colombia needs the pension reform, it needs to fulfill its objective of truly protecting the elderly. Ramirez also informed at the end of the session, next week the debate will continue. In Argentina, the Confederation of Education Workers is carrying out a national strike to demand the reopening of the bargaining agreement that sets a wage floor and to protest against the elimination of the Teachers' Incentive Fund. The teachers' organizations demand the funding of funds for national education programs, an increase in the salaries of teachers and retired teachers, and affirms that it is continuity of the action plans against the adjustment in public education. The teachers detailed that during the national strike, press conferences and actions will be held in the provinces to make the educational situation visible. In view of this, the government of Javier Milei confirmed that teachers who adhere to the national strike will be discounted the day. In Haiti, amid a situation described by human rights activists as a holocaust, thousands of people try to save themselves from gang violence. The government stands the state of emergency as the only solution. In this context, the incumbent government will extend the state of emergency for the entire Western Department until May 3. The measure, communicated by Michel Patrick Bousver, the interim minister, implies a curfew from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Local area. In addition to the prohibition, the hold meetings or demonstration. According to the United Nations, at least 6,500 people have died in the last 15 months in a violent manner in the country. The update data are unknown. In Cuba, the leaders of the communists, alongside with the government, expressed their gratitude to China for the new donation of 68 tons of rice that was donated to the Caribbean country. The shipment landed at the Jose Marti International Airport in Havana, Cuba's capital city. In representation of the Cuban people and government, the donation was received by the Vice Prime Minister, Jorge Luis Tapia, and the Minister of Domestic Trade, Betsy Diaz, among other officials. The head of the International Relations Department of the political organization, Emilio Lozada, emphasized that this action confirms the good relations between Cuba and China. In addition, it contributes to the efforts made by the island to guarantee the well-being of the people. This year, another donation of thousands of tons of rice is expected to arrive by the sea. AP North survey reveals that United States citizens lack of confidence in the country's democratic institutions. According to the study presented on Wednesday, 3 out of 10 citizens believe that democracy does not work well. At a more acute level, 14% assure that in this North American nation there is no democracy. The survey also reveals traces of racism and xenophobia that some analysts blame on the political tone on the election year. Only 38% of the Republicans support the entry of immigrants as a positive value for the country. The same poll taken in March revealed that 60% of Americans doubt the mental capacity of Joseph Biden and Donald Trump to lead the country. On Thursday, April 4th, we remember the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., the prominent United States pastor and civil rights activist who was fatally shot in 1968 at the age of 39. Before being assassinated by James Earl Ray, he had been close watched for decades by the FBI, which had labeled him as the most dangerous man in the country. From a child, Martin Luther King demonstrated a deep religious faith and great gift for oratory and debate. He suffered racial segregation in person at age 13 when he had to give up his seat on a bus to a white passenger for the sole reason that he was black. From then on, he set out to fight for equal rights for blacks and whites. On October 14 of 1964, he received the Nobel Peace Prize. After this recognition, the objective of his fight expanded, protesting also against poverty and the Vietnam War. Now, let's take a short break, but remember, you can join us on TikTok at the TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. Palestinian health authorities report more than 1 million illnesses as a result of the escalating Israeli siege and the aggression against the Gaza Strip last October 7th. The report of the Health Emergency Operations Center states that there are at least 32,348 cases of hepatitis, and the number of respiratory infections exceeds 578,845 cases. It also reports several cases of acute diarrhea, skin eruptions, lice infections, scabies, and smallpox. The health agency highlighted the actions of the Israeli occupation forces that caused the destruction of around 155 health centers in Gaza and left some 53 medical facilities out of service. The Gaza health authorities confirmed that in the last hours, the Israeli genocidal operation raised to 33,037 the number of Palestinians killed in 6 months of war crimes. The statistical update, supported by the World Health Organization and international organizations such as Doctors Without Borders, confirms 75,668 people injured. Both those killed and wounded are mainly women and children, but they are not all. The figure may be very high, taking into account that under the tons of rubble, there are thousands of corpses that have not been rescued. The Committee for the Protection of Journalists also confirmed that 140 press workers were killed under Israeli fire. In Middle East, preliminary investigations indicate that the troops of Israel occupier deliberately killed members of the humanitarian organization World Central Kitchen. The route followed by the aid workers on Monday, April the 1st, was fixed by Tel Aviv. The humanitarian caravan followed the planned delivery by the Ministry of Defense. The vehicles were duly identified, as well as their occupants, with name, sex, nationality, and their function within that organization. The key fact is that after bombing the first vehicle, the 8 workers who were traveling in the second one informed the Israeli army. Nevertheless, they were bombed as a second time. For the United Nations reporter Francesca Albanese, there was no doubt Israel killed the 7 aid workers deliberately. In Palestine, the United Nations organizations issue a warning about the food crisis faced by the population, which could lead to famine at any moment. The non-governmental organization Oxfam International states that the Palestinians require 221 trucks a day to avoid famine and meet their basic needs, while the occupation forces only allow the entry of 105. This situation places the Gaza Strip population in a situation of vulnerability. Likewise, Israel has not complied with the order of the United Nations Supreme Court to prevent genocide and guarantee the delivery of humanitarian aid to the area. International humanitarian aid agencies claim that they have suffered more human losses than any other army conflict in the world. Israeli occupation forces detaining since yesterday evening and early morning at least 40 Palestinians, including 3 women and prisoners freed from Israel jails from the occupied West Bank. The Detainees and Ex-Detainees Affairs Commission and the Palestinian Prisoner Society state that the detention operations focus on occupied Jerusalem. The remaining detentions took place in the governorates of Hebron, Nablus, Tulkarem, and other areas. That brings the total number of Palestinians detainees since October 7th to about 8,030, including those who were detained from their homes at military checkpoints, those who surrendered under pressure, and those who were taken as hostage. Israel is on high alert, awaiting an Iranian response following the deadly attack of the Persian embassy in Syria. After receiving an alert from their American allies, they call up several ranks of reservists after deciding in an urgent meeting to reinforce their air defense systems. A military spokesman confirmed to Israel's Channel 12 that the state of alert in the occupied territory has reached its maximum. Some legislators denounced that Benjamin Netanyahu's decision against Syria, Iran, and Lebanon are taking the conflict to a dangerous and very significant scale. Parliamentarians claim that the premier is thinking of his political stability and not of the country. And we have a final short break coming up, but before, we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. constant news coverage of Latin American and the Caribbean, as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Final tour break. Don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak, threatened to withdraw the country from the European Convention on Human Rights if deportation plans is blocked. The British Premier, Rishi Sunak, hinted Wednesday that he is ready to request the country's withdrawal from the European Convention on Human Rights in the event that the Strasbourg Court blocks the draft law of the migration agreement signed with Rwanda that has its flagship measures the deportation of asylum seekers. Sunak stated that controlling borders and the entry of illegal migrants is more important than being a member of the foreign court. In addition, the High Commissioners of the United Nations European Court for Human Rights calls Sunak's deportation plan a violation of vital human rights protections. On Thursday, the spokesman of the Russian presidential office, Dmitry Peskov, assured that between his country and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, there is already a direct confrontation. The Kremlin spokesman assured during a press conference that the Atlantic Bloc is not increasing tensions, but it is directly involved in the conflict around Ukraine. He warned that NATO's move towards Russian borders weaken the security and stability of the continent. On Thursday, the organization, whose foundation is linked to generals of the Third Reich, reaches the 75th anniversary of its creation, shrouded in shadows and doubts. Southeast Africa is severely affected by El Nino weather phenomenon. On Thursday, the president of Zimbabwe declared a state of natural disaster due to the drought hitting the region. The announcement by Emerson Mnangagwa makes the country, after Zambia and Malawi, the third country to enter this level of contingency due to the prolonged drought that has ruined thousands of hectares of some fields. For this reason, the executive order the mobilization of resources to help the numerous families who are on the verge of starvation. In a nationally televised speech, the president assured that no one would die of hunger. According to official figures, the country has a grain deficit of 680,000 tons of grains. Due to poor rains, more than 2.7 million people will not have enough food to put on the table this year. In France, the Olympic Aquatic Centers, one of the just two new facilities constructed in the Paris region for the 2024 Olympic, was inaugurated Thursday. The formal handover to the Paris 2024 organizers took place with the presence of French President Emmanuel Macron. The center's pool, which holds more than 5,500 cubic meters of water, was initially filled in mid-December 2023. Equipped with over 4,000 solar panels, the center designed aids in heating pool's water to 27 degrees Celsius, according to architect Laurie Muriot. The building's concave wooden beam structure also efficiently limits the space requiring heating and ventilation. Featuring 5,000 seats for spectators, including 2,000 removable ones, the venue is set to host artistic swimming and diving competitions, along with the water polo tournament qualifying rounds. Tourists and residents packed Tokyo's top cherry blossom spots on Thursday to enjoy the full bloom that has arrived later than usual this year because of cold weather at the Japanese capital. The elegant dark branches bursting with pink and white flowers, known as sakura in Japanese, spill over the moat of the Imperial Palace, where people gather to snap photos or simply taking in the view. Sakura season traditionally accompanies the beginning of the new fiscal year in Japan, representing fresh starts, but also the fleeting impermanence and life. The Japanese Meteorological Agency declared on Thursday that the country's most common and popular Sami Soshino variety of cherry tree was in full bloom, 4 days later than average for the city. And we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at TeleSUREnglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I am Irma Shelton. Thank you for watching.